Chair, our guest of honor, I wish to indicate to you that the work that we are doing this has been a culmination of a number of activities and is a series of the activities that we have been undertaking. And we are glad that, again, you have agreed to grace this occasion. Among the functions of the Qualifications Authority, to determine national occupational standards for any occupation. That means, guest of honor, that we have quite a lot of occupational standards to work on. National occupational standards are statements of the standards of performance individuals are expected to achieve while carrying out their duties in respective workplace that they are engaged in. To date, ZAQA has, Chair, developed a number of occupational standards. In the tourism sector, we have 6. In agriculture and aquaculture sector, we've developed another 6. I will just specify those. In the tourism sector, we had the tour guide, the front office manager, front office assistant, we had the executive chef, the sous chef, and the chef de partie. So we have occupational standards for that. We also have occupational standards in the agriculture and aquaculture sector, which include senior agriculture officer, the agriculture extension officer, the fisheries extension assistant, aquaculture farmer, aquaculture technician, and fish seed grower. In the manufacturing sector, we have for mechanical engineer, electrical and electronics engineer, chemical engineer, production manager, quality controller, and workshop machines officer. In the construction sector, we have the geomatics engineer, the electrician, low voltage, draftspersons, general bricklayer, a metal fabricator, and steel fixer. Guest of honor, that is what we've developed to date. And today we are happy to be launching the National Occupational Standards for the mining sector. In line with the provisions in the ZAQA Act, we held a stakeholder workshop to ensure that all the stakeholders are part and parcel of this process. And we identified key occupations with the stakeholders in the mining sector. And guest of honor, from these workshops, 6 occupations were prioritized. We have a lot, but 6 were prioritized. And these 6 that we are looking at today are mine data entry operator, mine safety officer, winding engineer operator, senior chemist, process engineer, mining blaster. Obviously, the stakeholders did prioritize this because they have seen gaps in delivery of these occupations. After having worked on draft documents for these occupations, Chair, we had a validation workshop where the development team, which comprised different sector players, the mines representatives, the chambers of commerce, academia, as well as the authority to facilitate the work. We invited for validation, a validation workshop, and we had a wider stakeholder review and commenting. So we circulated to the different stakeholder players, and we had the different comments. After that, we had a national validation workshop that basically took into account all the comments from the different stakeholders. And in Kitwe, this validation workshop that is held at the core of the mining sector was held in consultation with the different industry, government, and regulators, as well as sector associations. Chair, after this whole consultative process, we then subjected the NOS for approval by the sector players, which was done. The final endorsement was given by the development team, and approval was given by the ZAQA board on the 7th of May, 2021. this is the process. It's been lengthy, but we could not have done it with your support from the Ministry of Higher Education, support from government, and special support from the Embassy of Ireland, who have been funding the work that we have been doing as ZAQA. With these remarks, Honorable Guest of Honor, I wish to call upon the representatives from the different sector players to utilize the standards that we have, we are going to be launching to date, because at the end of the day, there will be nothing if we do not utilize them. But before we basically get into the details of implementation, it is my honor and singular pleasure to invite you, Madam Kayola Siame, to give your keynote speech and launch the National Occupational Standards for the mining sector. PS.
It is a delight for me today to officiate at this National Occupational Standards for the mining sector. And especially as we are in a very difficult time in terms of the COVID-19 pandemic. But I'm pleased to note that the Zambia Qualifications Authority has found a way to ensure that the validations could still take place, and we're able to meet our objective of ensuring that the mining sector can at least have at least 6 of the National Occupational Standards before mid-year of 2021. I wish to point out that these National Occupational Standards for the mining sectors we're launching today were identified and developed in full consultation with the key sector players. The consultation process has been elaborated by the CEO, and I think, as you note, we do ensure and take cognizance of the very important stakeholder participation in all our development processes, especially for the National Occupational Standards. Because without having consultation or without having the participation of the private sector, we would not be able to ensure that the occupational standards that we are launching today are those that are meeting the industry needs. But because they have been done in collaboration and in cooperation with the industry, we are very, very confident that these occupational standards is what the industry needs at this time. As was already alluded to, ladies and gentlemen, there are 6 national occupational standards that have been developed for the mining sector, namely the mine data entry operator, the mine safety officer, winding engine operator, senior chemist, process engineer, and the mining blaster. These national occupational standards are a continuation of the commendable work that the Zambia Qualifications Authority is doing to ensure that the standards are developed in various sectors. As you may be aware, ZAQA has already developed and launched national occupational standards for selected occupations in the agriculture, tourism, and also in the aquaculture sector. And now we have moved to the mining sector. And even the manufacturing sector as well has also had the national occupational standards also already launched. Ladies and gentlemen, the national occupational standards are key in bridging the gap between the skills, needs of the industry, and what the training providers are able to ensure that they provide. As you may be aware, these national occupational standards that have been launched today will inform the curricular development in the respective occupations in the mining sector. In this regard, it is expected that the mismatch between performance requirements in industry and skills development in the mining sector will be addressed by these national occupational standards, consequently improving the productivity in the sector. It is for this reason that the government stands ready to promote and support interventions such as the development of the National Occupation Standards, which are aimed at enhancing the quality of education and training, as well as promoting an industry-driven skills development for the betterment of our economy. This will also ensure that the skills that are being provided to our students or those who are going for these skills are relevant to the industry and also relevant to the economy. As government, we fully appreciate that the quality education is a key prerequisite to a robust and sustainable economic development, and we recognize that an educated population provides the type of labor force necessary for our industrial development. This step taken by the Zambia Qualifications Authority to develop the national standards for the mining sector resonates very well with the government's policy of ensuring availability of a skilled workforce across the various sectors of our economy as advocated for in the 7th National Development Plan, continue to be promoted in the 8th National Development Plan through the social and human development tenets. And this will also ensure that in the next 9 years, when we do have or meet our Vision 2030, ZAQA will have contributed to ensuring that we are prosperous and middle income. The National Occupational Standards being launched today are central in the operational efficiency and productivity of the workforce in the mining sector. These occupational standards describe good practices in all the major areas of an occupation, and most importantly, they define what it takes to succeed in any of these occupations. The occupational standards are used world over in development of curricula and learning programs, which leads to recognizable and internationally comparable qualifications. If Zambia wants to be internationally competitive, then we need to ensure that we have a well-structured education system with clear training standards that are aligned to occupational requirements and therefore ensure training quality. So the National Occupational Standards we are launching today are testament to this fact for the mining sector. And this will also contribute to ensuring that these services, that Zambia can easily trade these services, especially now when we talk of the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement, which has been implemented. So these are the type of services that will make it easy for Zambia to be able to trade her services within the continent. And it's for this reason that the development of these occupational standards, such as the ones we are launching today, could not have come, therefore, at a better time than this. Ladies and gentlemen, the government appreciates the role and the input of the private sector and industry in enhancing the relevance and the quality of our education training. In this light, the government will continue to engage and work together with the private sector, who are our partners in development, on matters aimed at ensuring that the nation has adequately and appropriately skilled manpower. I want to take this opportunity to urge the private sector players and captains of industry to continue collaborating in the development and implementation of different national occupational standards. Your continued participation in this development process will promote those linkages we need between training providers and the industry, which is essential to ensuring that the training skills development is adequate and meets the industry needs. Ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude, allow me to acknowledge the invaluable contribution that the Embassy of Ireland has made in funding these activities. And furthermore, may I also take this opportunity to encourage all organizations represented here today, physically and most of you virtually, to continue supporting ZAQA in delivering its mandate and ensure that the national occupational standards developed for the mining sector are implemented during curriculum development and training in order to enhance the caliber of our graduates and our workforce, and also to ensure that we have relevant skills in our industry and we have relevant skills that can be used in the industry, and this will only increase the employability, to also increase the chances and opportunities for those who get these skills to also employ themselves. With a well-trained workforce, importing manpower will no longer be a necessity. It is with these remarks that it is now my singular honor and privilege to officially launch the National Occupational Standards for the mining sector. God bless you and thank you. In the old norm, we would have had dancers presenting, but this is just showing you that this is the new norm. So things are different, but still we meet our objective. Yes. So it is now my honor and privilege to officially launch these occupational standards for the mining sector. Stated.
So this is the mine data entry operator. And this is the mine safety officer. And this one is the winding engine operator. You can see the photos reflect what they are doing. And this one is the senior chemist. And this one is the process engineer. Last but not the least is mining blaster.